Before long, a car picks Jinhyeok up and escorts him to the auction house. Along the road, Jinhyeok notices that the car window is completely blacked out, signifying that the auction house's location is top secret. Jinhyeok then arrives in some kind of massive mansion, the place that will be used for the auction. Alice prompts him to keep his word and to let her out, as Jinhyeok tells her he needs to find a place where they won't be spotted. The moment she is out, she feels pleased to breathe in the fresh air and happy to see the grand mansion she can play in. Jinhyeok tells her not to draw any attention to the auction as they head inside. Because there are a lot of watching eyes, he doesn't want her to cause unnecessary trouble. As they head inside, Alice can feel a foul stench that she despises. Apparently, it comes from the old man from the Olympus meeting signified by the staff in his hand. He approaches Jinhyeok and introduces himself as Julius Kedrick. Apparently, he turns out to be Alex's mentor. The stupid blonde wasted no time calling his mentor. By the look of it, Alex got a good beating because he lost the elixir without anything to show for it. Of course, Jinhyeok didn't forget to activate his Eye of Gluttony. He finds that Julius has impressive stats. He even has a unique ability that complements his class as a necromancer. This skill allows him to summon many corpses with limited mana, so most necromancers try their best to obtain it. Right after, Jinhyeok is annoyed to see that he needs to learn an A+ magic from him in order to copy his unique skill. Jinhyeok decides to brush it off and provoke him by thanking his student that he got a precious item and had an enjoyable flight. Julius then reveals his reason for coming to him. He asks for information about Unknown and claims that it is very important to him. Jinhyeok walks off on him, saying it's not every day he gets to attend an event like this, suggesting to talk some other time. Julius then tries to block his path, telling him there is no other time because he wants to take care of this as quickly as possible. However, Jinhyeok simply brushes him off, saying that is not his problem, and walks away. This irritates Alex so much that Julius needs to step in and tell him to let him go because he has another way to mess with him. Alice then offers him to get rid of Lucius, saying he is annoyingly smelly. But Jinhyeok explains nothing good will come of making a scene here. In the end, Alice can only grumble about it. As they attend the auction, and Jinhyeok tells her to bid for the item they want, and then leave as soon as they can. Finally, the 175th black market auction begins. The duo is looking for seats to sit on, while the auctioneer introduces a fragment of a meteor that landed in Arizona. The price quickly rises, and Jinhyeok thinks that no one knows how to work with fallen iron. So this is a chance for him to buy it at the cheapest price he can. With that in mind, Jinhyeok bids $300,000 for it. While feels pleased to get some fallen iron for a bargain price, another person bids it for $1 million. When Jinhyeok sees who outbid him, he realizes that is how Julius going to play. Another item is being auctioned, and ordinary people start raising the price, until Jinhyeok bids for it, and people stop trying, except the old man who outbids him by 3 times what he put up. This comes to be a surprise to the attendees, for suddenly triple the price is absurd. Jinhyeok is bidding for this item randomly, but now he knows for sure this old man is trying to mess with him. Being irritated, he decides to play with Julius for now. The next item shown is a relic of the Mayan civilization found in South America, and Jinhyeok immediately bid $500,000. Alice is confused why would Jinhyeok bid for something they don't even hear what the item is. But he has a plan and tells her to wait. Right after, Julius put up a bid for $1 million. That instant, Jinhyeok put up another bid for $1.5 million. Yet again, the old man outbids him with $3 million. After he makes his bid, Jinhyeok suddenly drops it and lets the old man have it. Julius is clueless that he is getting played and thinks he is succeeding in messing up with Jinhyeok. One after another, they went on and on with the bidding war. Jinhyeok bids only for the sake of increasing the item's price, and Julius thought he could mess up with him by outbidding him every chance he could get. Alex starts to worry and suggests to his master to give up on some items. But Julius beats him up and tells him what will he do if Jinhyeok is able to get his hand on the items he wants. On the other hand, Julius realizes their loss is accumulating, but they have plenty of capital anyway and want to purchase anything Jinhyeok is after and exchange it for information about unknown. Next won the auction is a collector item, the first chessboard. People are confused about what they are supposed to be doing with a chessboard with no pieces, and others are passing on this item to save their money. Jinhyeok seems to know what it is, so he bids for it with a small bid. Just like always, Julius outbids him again by doubling the amount. They went on a little charade until Jinhyeok made a bet of $1 million. Yet again, Julius outbids him by offering $8 million instead. Finally, the bid reached the limit of what Jinhyeok had, and he offered all $10 million he had to bid. Julius springs up from his seat, excitedly offering $30 million to outbid him. He figures out that Jinhyeok's limit to bid must be $10 million, and this item is what he really wants. He then screams to tell Jinhyeok to come crawling to him to get it, as the auctioneer asks if there is another bet. Jinhyeok is groaning in desperation. He has been draining that old man's funds all this time, and he still has that much money left. Jinhyeok then thinks of a plan, as the auctioneer going to let Julius have it for $30 million. Out of a sudden, Alice stands up and offers $100 million for it. This comes to be a surprise for Jinhyeok, but also stupefied the old man for bidding $100 million for a chessboard. Alice looks at Jinhyeok, asking whether that is how to bid, and Jinhyeok confirms that it is, but he questions how she can pay for it. On the other hand, Julius is thinking he has already spent over $70 million on useless garbage, but if he stops now, it will have all been for nothing. As he turns away, he puts off a bid for $110 million, but Alice immediately cuts him off and bids for $200 million. This annoyed the old man. He then screams to ask whether this child is really able to pay $200 million for it. The auctioneer chips in. He claims not to doubt the young miss, but he wants her to show some proof that she can pay. Alice then opens up a portal to her treasury and takes out a truckload of gold coins and treasure to show them that she is in fact able to pay for that much. Before long, a young expert takes up a crown and tries to estimate the value of it. He then reveals this crown alone is worth more than $500 million. Only then does Julius realize that Alice is not just a usual kid because she can just cough up $500 million with a wave of her hand. He knows the person more dangerous than her is Jinhyeok, who treats her like a subordinate. With that, Julius talks to Alex to say that the plan has changed and to enact Plan B. A villainous smile appears on Alex's face the moment he hears it. Lucius then walks to the back while Alex is reaching out for something in his pocket. The auctioneer then brings the first chessboard to Alice, who won the bid. She tells him to give to Jinhyeok instead of her. Jinhyeok asks whether it is really all right to spend so much money on it. Alice claims to not mind it. Her vault was too full, so she was planning on clearing it out anyway. She smiles proudly, as she pleads to rather be dead than to see someone look down on her partner. Suddenly, there's a massive explosion from the back. Breaking apart the mansion, panic ensues to the whole attendants. That instant, the security evacuated everyone inside, and people get on each other's way in order to survive. Before they can even reach the door, Alex appears and cuts them with a small knife in his hand. Right after, he activates his skill called Magical Furnace as he states they all will become his precious sacrifices. The moment his skill is activated, the people are collapsing, having their head feel like it's going to explode. Even a little child is not spared in this incident. Of course, this makes Jinhyeok's anger boil, saying that Alex is going too far to take ordinary people's life as someone who awakened his power. One after another, Alex absorbs the life force from the people in his area of effect and summons some kind of blood creature. Jinhyeok knows what he expected from a disgusting necromancer, but taking the civilian in front of him will be his downfall. Alex thought he could go against Jinhyeok, an S-rank awakened player, who was still able to withstand this much magic power. He is still bitter about the memory of how Jinhyeok humiliated him on the plane, as it is still fresh in his mind. He then commands his creatures to shred Jinhyeok to pieces, and they immediately come toward their target. Fortunately, Jinhyeok is still able to move to dodge the incoming attack, even with this much pressure weighing on him. Alex then wonders where the little kid ran off to. Jinhyeok stated she didn't like gross things like this, so she bolted out of there. The truth is, Jinhyeok is sustaining damage from the furnace, and he will be the one at a disadvantage the longer this drags out, so he needs to finish them off as fast as possible. With that in mind, Jinhyeok summons his dagger and instantly slashes the incoming monster that comes his way. Alex doesn't seem a bit afraid looking at it, as he claims to be surprised and absorbs more of the life force from other people in the vicinity. With it, he summons another group of blood creatures, saying this is a good place to play. Jinhyeok realizes that Alex intends to drag things out by fighting like this. As long as he can suck out of the life force, he can continue to revive the monsters until he runs out of mana. This is a standard fighting style of necromancers. Right after, Jinhyeok dodges the few incoming monsters and slashes them, before he dashes back to provoke Alex. He states this trump card of his is a mere child play in his eyes. Jinhyeok then points his dagger toward him, activating his skill, Daylight. Alex knows Jinhyeok has this ability, since he already watched the tournament video and figured out all of his moves, and tells his creatures to block this attack. To his surprise, his creatures are unable to move, because their feet are frozen. Apparently, Jinhyeok uses the light to blind him, so he can cast his ice magic. With it, Jinhyeok unleashes the full power of Daylight toward this fool of an opponent in front of him. The blinding beam of light goes through the roof toward the sky, lighting up the night as it was during the day. Somehow, Alex is able to survive the attack, but the moment he opens up his eyes, he is surprised to see his creature disintegrated into dust. Jinhyeok comes to him, as he mocks those creatures who are weak. That instant, Alex jumps up and throws his knife toward the man before him. Of course, Jinhyeok easily able to block the attack as Alex attempts to flee the scene. In his mind, he is done for if he can't get out of here to meet his master. Jinhyeok simply throws his dagger at him, and it stabs right through his chest. He then smugly states that is how one should throw a weapon. Walking toward him, Jinhyeok wonders whether Alex is really attempted to run away after causing this much of a mess. As he dismisses his dagger, Jinhyeok is going to explain how this stupid blonde will die. For the next 30 minutes, his lungs are slowly going to fill with blood. When his lungs are completely full, he will suffocate to death. They say it is the most painful way to die next to burning to death is suffocation. Of course, Jinhyeok could relieve his suffering. He offers the elixir and asks about everything he knows about the association of the demonic ones. Alex tries to speak, but he can't utter a word because his throat is blocked by his own blood. In an attempt to talk, he writes something on the ground, but Jinhyeok steps on his hand the moment he tries to say anything with his writing. Right after, Jinhyeok says if he doesn't plan to tell him, then it can't be helped, signifying that he never intended to hear him out. Jinhyeok then gives his card back, before he wishes Alex to die as slowly and as painfully as possible. While making his way out, there is something catching his eye in the pile of items being sold in the auction. It is the ichthyosaur heart that he will use to combine and acquire a huge inventory with. Instead of taking off with it, Jinhyeok immediately combines it with a Michelangelo's save to acquire a large pocket dimension inventory that can hold up to 5 tons of weight. Suddenly, he is startled by the voice of the auctioneer thanking him for saving both him and his son. What kind of parent brings his son to a black market? However, that is how there is a kid in such a place being swept up in the chaos. The auctioneer admits before he lost consciousness, he saw Jinhyeok saving their life. Thanks to that, he will not report Jinhyeok for the thing he stole. He then smiles, feeling this is the first time he doesn't feel so bad killing a person.